All
they're
right, so
live.
let's go track for track.
Yeah, yeah,
Brambleton,
yeah.
Brambleton, right?
Brambleton's hard, Mike.
You know, I want to do like I think Man be doing this in our comment section.
You want to
Yeah,
rate it song by song?
yeah, let's do
Yeah,
that. Brambleton on a scale from 1 to 5. What are you giving Brambleton?
I think Brambleton's a 5.
Okay, let
Yeah.
the smoker shine the coupe.
Mike, that's the pinnacle of this album to me. That's it.
It's 5.
Like yeah, that's what I wanted. That's what his core fan base wanted this album to sound like. If Pharrell was really going to be the one putting it together, that's what the album should have sounded like. Should sound like Let the Smoker Shine the Coupe.
Okay, Dreaming of the Past.
And give that a 4.
Give that a 4. Okay,
But that could have been better.
it could have
Like
been
what
better.
I'm saying, that's one of those tracks. It's like I hear the track, I don't love the beat. The engineering is horrible because the vocals sound wise are sounding louder than the MC. When the vocals sound from a singer and from the beat sound louder than the MC, that's an engineering problem.
Nobody
So
wanted to tell Ye, huh?
I don't get it. Somebody need to because this keep happening. Apparently, I'm the only person talking about it. I'm not one of like 10 million niggas in America that's been like in the studio multiple times an hours and knows how this shit's supposed to sound. Like there's 10 million guys like us, Mike, that's been in the studio countless times and know how it's supposed to sound.
It's all about what you're going for, right? It's communication. All right, so neck and wrist.
I'm gonna give that another 4, Mike. That's what I'm saying. Is like, what did they really deliver? How epic is that song? Is that song like ringing bells or people running around calling it a classic? Because it's not. It delivers. It's 4 out of 5. It delivers.
You know what? Somebody needs to keep score because I see the people in the chat are putting up their numbers too. People are saying Dreaming of the Past is a 3.5. Okay.
See, if you want to give it a 3.5, I'm okay with that because somebody needs to tell. Okay, the engineer's not even being put through slavery anymore. The engineer's been fired.
All right, just so you remember.
Just so you remember.
You know what? When I was listening to this album, because I liked all the songs leading up to that, and I don't dislike the song, but if there was a song to cut, I would have cut that.
Okay, but what he's doing, inflection and vocal wise, as an MC, that's one of those songs where it's like fundamentally impressive. But I'm with you. This is kind of 3.5.
This is the thing. I would have once we got the Diet Coke, then I would have changed this album into okay. Let me talk about something. You know what I'm saying? That's where the volume should have changed a little bit. But okay, just so you remember, what are you giving that on a scale from 1 to 5?
I would probably say like a 3.5 because I don't love anything about the track except for what he's doing with it as an MC.
Okay.
Yeah.
Diet Coke 5.
I would give that a 4.5. I don't think Diet Coke is a 5. That's what I'm saying is because MC wise, like compare that to something like If You Know You Know, or even go to Brambleton and it's like it's not the same level. It's 4.5 though.
What about Rock and Roll featuring Kid Cudi and Ye?
I struggle with this record, Mike. What do you really honestly think of this record? Because it's like
I listened to it a couple times, man. At first, when I heard it, I wasn't a huge fan of it. After listening to it again, like I said, I saw what they were trying to do. I like it. You know, it's cool.
4.
Yeah, I'm cool with a 4 there.
That 4 is a stretch because it's closer to 3.5 to me, but we can 4 it. That's cool.
All right. Call My Bluff.
Okay, see, this is what I mean. This is a 4.5 that should be a 5 because the production failed it. This Call My Bluff, actually, Mike, Call My Bluff should be the second best song on this album.
He's killing that shit, but the beat is just that.
After Let the Smoker Shine the Coupe, Call My Bluff. How about this? If Call My Bluff has a better beat to it, it could be the best song on this album. 4.5 though, because Mike, he's disgusting on there. Like as far as performance go, I think that's his best Mike performance on the album. Just that record.
People saying Call My Bluff 4 out of 5. 4. I'm seeing 4s. Weakest song is Rock and Roll featuring Ye and Cudi. Okay.
Oh, I'm not a fan. Yeah.
Okay.
I told you that was a weak 4.
Mm-hmm. All right, so we got Scrape It Off the Top.
3.5.
You know, it's weird, man.
Ooh, it's just cool.
I feel like, again, this is where Pharrell was trying to go. And I think this song right here, I think that articulates it the best. He wanted to connect with that crowd. And I think for that crowd, this is a decent song that I think they should have actually put out. I think they should have put that song out instead of Neck and Wrist. Not saying
Mike,
it's better, but I'm just saying for what they were trying to do, radio wise or whatever, that's the song they should have put out.
I totally
Because if you don't put out a song like this, why do you even have it on this album?
get out my head, Mike. That was my thought. It's like, is this the next single? Because if it's not, it has no business on this album.
Right.
That gave it a 3.5 because this is what I'm talking about. I'm grading him on the highest level. So I'm even looking at the rationale for why you're placing the records in the structure that you're placing them.
Mm-hmm.
Like the order of the album, the song sequencing of the album matters when you're an artist of his caliber.
And Pusha, let's keep it real. Pusha is an executive too. He puts together artists. He puts together albums. He was talking about how, you know, they found what's her name from Good Music, married to Ahmad Shumpert.
Tiana
Taylor. He said they found Tiana Taylor's album going through Daytona. So he does these things. That's why I give him number one blame. He should have been like, yo, we're either putting this song out or we taking this off the album.
Right. That's all up. So the song is probably a 4 because I see what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
But it's out of place. The sequencing on it, and I want to briefly bring up something. The sequencing on this album isn't great, and I want to know who the executive producer is. Because this song should have been actually probably, truthfully, Mike, this song should have been between Brambleton and Let the Smoker Shine the Coupe.
I was just about to say, I feel like Let the Smoker Shine the Coupe should have been the first song on the album and Brambleton number 2. But I can see what you're saying, like if you put them in between, yeah.
No. Brambleton needs to be first. I get why Brambleton is first. He's like, let me get this off. Let me get this BA shit off. You know, that's personal. Brambleton's like a little suburb, is a suburb if I'm not mistaken. You know I'm from North Carolina, Mike. If I'm not mistaken, Brambleton is like it's a semi-affluent suburb. Area, but like things kind of, so it's kind of personal. And so I get that. But to be honest with you could have gone Brambleton, scrape it off, and then Let the Smoker Shine the Coupe. The feel of it would have been better, Mike. The feel, that matters when you're putting an album together. Daytona feels good, Mike. If you know the games we play, hard piano.
Carlos Derilla says that Pharrell's the executive producer. Okay.
That's the problem. There we go.
Okay. Yeah, a lot of people did. I'm looking at the chat right now. People didn't like that song. They're giving it a 2 out of 5, 3 out of 5, and that's the thing that I think Pharrell was mostly at fault for, was you're creating records that the people who really rock with Push don't really like.
So I'm going to speak to something. We're going to go to the MCs that I have number 1 and number 5 on my list. What he just tried to do was scrape it off is what Hit Boy just did with Nas with YKTV and Spicy.
Yeah.
But that's why Nas is the GOAT. You understand?
I don't think Scrape It Off's a bad record. But I don't think that Uzi is Uzi's not the best person to put, but yeah, that YG and that's
Right, 3.54, Mike. But let's not get it twisted. It's not Spicy or YKTV. Like Spicy is a 5, YKTV is a 4.5, maybe a 5. Like those records slap.
You know, it's crazy. I don't really like Spicy like y'all like it, but I like YKTV.
You like YKTV more.
I like YKTV.
You think Nas is more fluid on there because he's doing better at keeping up with what the kids are doing. But Spicy still slaps, Mike. That beat the Spicy is crazy.
I listened to King's Disease 1 today, and they're improving on their model each time, and it's like King's Disease 1 is good, but King's Disease 2 is better, and then Magic is
some other shit. Woo.
Yeah. Timothy Shepard says, absolutely love the Hip-Hop Yearbook. Appreciate that. Yeah, we got it right there in digital form and in physical form. I'm liking the digital one, man, where people could just pull it up wherever. And, you know what I'm saying? I know a lot of people might be catching the train depending on what city you living in. You know, it ain't feasible for everybody to lug around like a physical copy of a book. So we had to get it to you on the digital platform too. Let's see.
So like I said, the song is I don't think the song is as bad as people are saying. It's like more like a 3.5 to a 4, Mike. I saw what they were trying to do with it, But that's what I mean. It's only a 4 if you make it a single and if you move it up. That's why I said 3.5.
I think it could actually be a decent single, but see, the thing is, man, I don't. I mean, Don Toliver's Don Toliver. I mean, he was on King's Disease 1, and he sounds great with just about anybody. And Uzi did his thing, but I just don't think that Uzi and Pusha were the best matchup, in my opinion.
It's not
But
even.
I think it's a decent song. I don't think it's as bad as people are saying. I think it's just so far off from
No,
what
this
his
is.
fans want.
I mean, so this is one of those things. Is it's like, well, is Hit Boy a better producer than Pharrell all time? No. But is he better right now? Yes,
Oh yes, that's not even a question.
because YKTV and Spicy, Mike, the beats. If you're putting this record together and you're putting Lil Uzi with Pusha, the beat need the Mike. The beat has to like Hit Boy doesn't put Nas in the position that Pharrell just put Pusha T in. You understand what I'm saying? Beat wise, like it's a no brainer. Like what the first Mike, the first time I heard Spicy, I was like single soon.
Oh yeah,
Mike,
yeah.
as soon as I heard YKTV, I was like single soon. Guess what happened both times, Mike? Single soon. Set up that way too. Set up that way. So this is what I mean is like it just seemed like they put this together and didn't think about it. Benny was thinking about Tana Talk 4. Conway was thinking about God Don't Make Mistakes. Even Currency and Alchemist, the sequencing on Continuance is beautiful. The sequence on Continuance is beautiful.
Okay, let me go to the next song. Hear Me Clearly.
4. If
4.
that, because I damn near would go 3.5 on that. I do not love that record.
Open Air.
That's a 4 that should be a 5. It's a 4 that's supposed to be a 5.
I Pray for You.
It's 4.5.
Yeah.
Malice is Malice is or no Malice? No Malice is it no Malice? How was his name on there? No Malice?
Well, it on the track list it says Malice, so maybe it's back, but
okay.
Maybe they did that for search purposes too. I don't know, but
could have done it for money purposes too.
Yeah, possibly.
Possibly. His verse on there was great, Mike. I was actually thinking his verse was one of the better verses on the album too.
It was.
But that was the thing about it. He was always the more personal rapper of the both of them too. And so here was one of my thoughts about the album when I heard the last record. I'm gonna give the last record 4.5 out of 5 because once again the beat is not what it's supposed to be for what they're doing on that song. But it's a dope ass song and it's a good way to end the album. Mike, this is what I'm about to say. No other all-time great rapper has been as comfortable being in a group as Pusha is because it's his older brother. And there is something about hearing that record that made me realize it's like, oh, he was always the flash in the delivery.
Exactly. And you can hear that. And the substance was Malice.
And the substance was Malice. Yep. And it's like, well, that's where they succeeded so wonderfully on Hell Hath No Fury because Malice is the one that's super personal on Hell Hath No Fury. Like Pusha's personal, but what I'm saying, it's because Big Bro is super personal. Pusha's keeping it connected. He has to be personal somewhat to keep pace with Big Bro. Because Big Bro was talking on Hell Hath No Fury. I'm sorry, Grandmama, for mistakes how I made.
Yeah.
For how air family business, how you put me in my place.
I never thought about it like that, but you're right. Mad Max at the Super Chat says, this may be a reach, but Push had a line about how he wished that he had fans like J. Cole, but a dope boy got to be a man. LOL. I think these two have tension because of the Johnny P's caddy. Cole was talking about Push.
What's the verse? But what verse is that? Because that's one of the best verses on the album. I just couldn't recall.
I feel like that was towards the end. Was
that Open Air?
That might have been Open Air.
I think that's the verse on Open Air. See, when he's saying stuff like that, man, the beat need to knock when that's happening. You know what I mean? Like I think
the casual says that Cole took shots at him on Middle Child. We're missing a whole thing going on.
Are we missing a thing?
We're missing a whole thing.
That's North Carolina VA.
And that might be just a competitive thing. And I truly believe, I know some of y'all were joking in our community section that Kendrick was releasing his album on my birthday or whatever, but it's also Pusha's birthday. I think that was more towards that on a competitive level. Because all this album of the year stuff, I think it stops today. I mean, where do you see this as far as the album of the year discussion so far? Because based on how we just went through each song, this seems like more of a justifiable 4 out of 5 album, right?
No, that's why I said 4.25, because if you actually look at how we rated it, there was only a few records that hit the mark below 4, and there was a couple of 5s and a couple of 4.5s, and mostly 4s. I think it's probably closer to a 4.25.
Okay. Jordan House says that was Call My Bluff, by the way. And Ray Realms got a super chat. He says, my last super chat, I asked who should Push do an album with, production-wise. I said Clipse and Alchemist. Alchemist is the answer for everybody, seems like. I think Push should do an album with Kanye West. Kanye West needs to get his mind together or whatever and get his mind right, and they work. Because I think I told Coop this offline. I truly believe if, this whole Pharrell rollout or whatever wasn't even a thing, I think based on the past 4 years that Push has had, him and Kanye could have come together and done somewhat of what Kanye did for Common would be. I think it would have been a lot more introspective. I think that, especially with the spiritual vibe that Kanye has going on now, I think that it would have been stripped down. I think that's the person that he needs to do an album with. Excuse me. I think that's the person that he's comfortable with if he's going to get that, personal. And I just think that it's a sonic link. I don't think the answer for him is Alchemist, in my opinion.
You want to know what it really is, Mike? I think they just really... Are we talking about Clipse or are we talking just Push?
I think we're talking just Push. Because I don't think there's any Clipse coming. If it's Clipse, I'll say Neptunes. But,
Yeah, because if it's Clipse, I'm going to say Neptunes.
Yeah.
Because Malice is in the building, and he's proven himself to be important in a variety of ways in terms of how that all kind of comes together. Because what I'm really starting to realize is I think that when they're all in the room, and that includes Pharrell, I think Malice is the one that's actually calling the shots. Mike, what do you say? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they grew up together. Like Malice and Pharrell and them are the ones that grew up together. Like him, Timbaland, all of them are in the same age bracket. Like Push is the little brother.
But I feel like Malice, I'm talking about behavior and personality wise, is the leader of the group in terms of vocalizing how this shit is about to go.
Oh, definitely.
Right. And so him being in the fold, if he's in the fold, then Neptunes needs to do the album. But as far as Push, it's I think after this whole Kanye Pharrell thing, because really, his whole career, Mike, 90% of his career, I would say the beats have been done by, at this point, Pharrell, Kanye, or Timbaland. Yeah. About 90%. Pharrell, Kanye.
That's a pretty good record.
No, it's a good record. It's why his stuff is usually always 4 or better, Mike.
Yeah.
It's why he don't miss. You know what I'm saying? He don't miss. It's not like Clipse has any bad albums. It's not like he has any bad albums.
Those two songs that you and I were just discussing where Pharrell let him down on the beat, that's rare. Shout out to Jay Short with the super chat. He said, if Daytona was Push's Illmatic, this was his It Was Written. It's not Daytona, but the album will be celebrated in time. I think that's an interesting way of putting it. Go ahead.
This is why I bring up Volume 2 in terms of historical context, because what my fear is for some of these records is that the greatness of them isn't going to be heard because it's not going to stand the test of time. Open Air and Call My Bluff come to mind specifically. Because of the beat, it's not going to hold up over the test of time.
I agree with that.
That's what I'm talking about it, how it being kind of Volume 2-ish, where it's some of the stuff is going to hold up. So if I'm calling it, it's Brambleton and Let the Smoker Shine the Coupe. Oh, that's about to hold up, in my opinion. Open Air, Call My Bluff. It's I don't know about those beats holding up. Remember how some of this stuff on Volume 2 sounds now?
No, you're right.
That shit was... So what Jar was saying, everything on Volume 2 was live and flying, playing in the clubs when it came out. You remember that, Mike? How did it hold?
Ain't nobody out here playing Can I Get a What with the chickens all of my... Maybe at the old school jams or whatever, but
it might still drop, but it's this when you start talking about your legacy
it's straight up nostalgic, though.
It's straight up nostalgic, not classic rap.
Yeah. LP says Kanye thinks that Pusha should only rap over Dusty Soul samples. He's not trying to give Pusha a B. He typecast Pusha. I don't think there was Dusty Soul samples on Daytona.
Hard piano is not a Dusty Soul sample.
Mm-mm. You know, Daytona was produced so well that I was like, this don't even sound like Kanye.
I didn't know Kanye did If You Know, You Know. Does that sound like a Kanye beat? Really? Like, really?
No.
Think about it.
No. I mean, the games we play doesn't even really sound like him either.
I mean, as far as his versatility, Mike, as a producer, I don't know if he's done a more versatile production job as he did. Because in 7 Brief Songs, it's like he gave you like some Pete Rock shit, some RZA shit, some Primo shit. So, you know,
yeah,
like
because Infrared is some RZA shit.
It is, Mike.
That shit is crazy, man.
Games we play is some Primo shit. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Hard piano is some Pete Rock shit, Mike. Like with a bass line. Like he's all over the place, dude. He's all over the place on If You like on Daytona. If You Know, You Know. Like If You Know, You Know sounds like some Q-Tip shit actually, Mike.
It does. Tabernet says Open Air is a highlight of the album for me. The highs on the albums are the highest, and he's had, but the lows are bad.
Listen to what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. Open Air is a highlight on this album. It's not as high as it's supposed to be. I don't think people are listening. It's not where it's supposed to be. It's not enough when you're dealing with this caliber of producer and this caliber MC for the song to be 4 out of 5. Like when the guy is talking a certain type of Mike, okay, so when Q-Tip is dropping that Memory Lane beat, the first version of it, mm-hmm. and you hear it, you're like, man, that beat's crazy. But you hear how Nas is rapping to it. You're like, no, we need a different beat to fit what he just did, even if he just did it over this beat. You feel me?
Yeah.
That's what's going on Open Air and Call My Bluff. It's like, no, when you heard him doing that, you should have made it 10 times harder. You're like, man, this nigga crazy.
I just feel like with Pharrell and Kanye around, there had to be some better beats around. Right?
There had to have been. Let the Smoker Shine the Coupe and Brambleton and Diet Coke could not have been the best beats in the database. Could not have been. Could not have been. I just refuse to believe
It's hard to believe that, right?
Who did you give your beat to?
KL007 says, I disagree with Jay Short. It was written as arguably better than Illmatic. If you know, you know. Pun intended. This album would not be viewed a classic over time. Definitely not comparable to Daytona. Pusha's album Anticipation Drop Snow. Listen, I think that's the other part of it too. Just the build up for it. I don't think it did this album any favors. I get it, but this extended rollout over a month's period, and not to mention that we were hearing about this album last year. And the Nigo confusion where it was like you had Hear Me Clearly out there, and he was promoting the Nico album. It was like, I don't even think he explicitly said it was the Nico album. He was like, Hear Me Clearly, dropping Friday, whatever that was, April 3rd, whatever. So people are thinking, okay, we're finally getting this album.